show? What is it?
Twister hit theaters in 1996 and sucked up over $499 million at the box office.
No, that was a good-sized Twister. What was that, an F3?
Solid F2.
But the reality was, actors were dodging bacteria in filthy ditches and surviving wind from a jet engine that could level a house. These 20 secrets and accidents show how the chaos made it legendary. And wait until number 8, where that same wind machine turns a whole house into splinters in one take. Number 1. Right off the bat, Twister's commitment to realism came at a health cost. For one key storm scene, Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt had to wade through a dirty ditch filled with stagnant water and mud to simulate the chaos of a tornado ripping through. But this wasn't some clean set pool. It was real Oklahoma terrain, packed with grime, bacteria, and who knows what else from the fields. The crew didn't bother with fancy barriers or filters. They wanted that raw, gritty look you see on screen. Turns out the water was contaminated enough that both stars ended up needing hepatitis A vaccinations just to stay safe. Paxton later joked about it in interviews, saying it felt like the movie was trying to take them out before the Twisters could. This wasn't acting. This was putting their bodies on the line for authenticity. Drop a comment if you've got a wilder on-set health story. It sets the tone for the physical beatings that followed, like the eye-straining lights in the next fact. Number 2. Shifting from dirty water to something even more intense. The night storm scenes inside the truck cab pushed the cast to their limits with lighting.
See if you could do it. One other thing that I really enjoyed later on in post was actually when we had to come down to what those twisters are going to look like.
To mimic lightning flashes during those tense drives, the production rigged up 16,000 watt lamps right in the confined space. That's like having multiple car headlights blasting at once, non-stop. Paxton and Hunt had to act through takes where these bulbs were inches from their faces, creating that eerie, flickering storm glow you remember. The downside, the sheer brightness temporarily blinded them after every shot. Their eyes couldn't adjust back to normal right away, so they relied on eye drops to soothe the burn and wore special protective glasses off camera just to see straight. Director DeBon was all about that immersive feel, but it meant the leads were stumbling around set like they'd been caught in a real flash. Hunt mentioned in a later chat how it added to the disorientation, making their performances feel real because they were half blind. This ties right into the massive forces they face next. Those lights were nothing compared to the wind coming up. Number 3. Now, let's talk about the beast that powered Twister's most epic moments, the wind machines. To make those tornado chases feel alive, the crew didn't settle for fans or smoke. They mounted a full Boeing 707 airplane engine on the back of a massive truck.
I went out into the desert out in Mojave where they have the airplane graveyard out there. We said, okay, we're looking for a jet motor. And I said, turn that one on. I said, nah, Jan's not gonna like that. I said, how about that big one over there? What size is that? They said, well, that's a Boeing 707. That sounds good. I like the sound of that.
Cranking out gusts strong enough to mimic a hurricane. Picture a jet turbine roaring in an Oklahoma field, hooked up with smaller fans to spread the chaos everywhere. This setup blasted everything on set. Props, actors, even the camera rigs, with winds hitting over 100 miles per hour in spots. It was loud, it was dangerous, and it was the heart of scenes where debris flies and trucks rock like toys.
What is that?
One of the most important things in the movie is to keep the combination of physical effects and visual effects in scale so that one doesn't jump out from the other. So, for instance, when the tanker gets lifted up by the twister and pulled up in the air and then falls down, that's for real.
DeBont loved it because it captured the unpredictable power of storms without relying too much on post-production tricks. But safety was sketchy. Crew had to tie down gear just to keep it from launching. This machine wasn't just for show. It directly fueled the destruction we'll hit in Fact 8, where it helped smash a house to bits. From there, the injuries started piling up, starting with Hunt's rough day. Number 4. Helen Hunt's performance as Jo, the tough storm chaser, was believable because she was constantly taking real blows for the movie.
You play a woman who's absolutely fearless. Now, in a thunderstorm, where would we find you?
You'd find me in a storm shelter with a cup of tea.
The dirt and grime from Fact 1 wasn't the only danger she faced in that ditch sequence. During the intense drive where the team races through the water and under a low wooden bridge, Hunt hit her head multiple times on the bridge structure. These were not soft pads or rehearsed bumps. The combination of practical effects, high winds, and the uneven terrain meant the impacts were genuine. She was visibly shaken by the hits. But Hunt, known for her incredible dedication, chose to push through the pain. She continued filming with minimal downtime, keeping the demanding schedule on track. This commitment to staying in the action, even after taking real impacts, is exactly why her character felt so authentic. It's a reminder that sometimes the best special effect is just an actor enduring the chaos. Number 5. The physical dangers were bad enough, but Bond's push for perfection turned the set into a pressure cooker. Fresh off directing Speed, he brought that same relentless drive to Twister, demanding take after take until everything felt just right. Reports say around 20 crew members in that department walked off the production, fed up with the temperament and endless tweaks. Would you stick around for that? Number 6. That crew tension didn't stop DeBon from chasing his vision.
I drove myself to location every day. I just remember the air and the sound of the meadowlarks and all of this stuff, and I couldn't have been happier making the film. Now, Jan is a very physical guy. He's pushing himself as hard as he'll push his crew and his actors. But I admired that.
Instead of hiding in controlled sound stages back in LA, he dragged the whole production to real Oklahoma spots. Farms with endless cornrows, dusty back roads, and open fields that stretched for miles. These weren't dressed-up lots. They were actual working lands, complete with unpredictable weather and rough terrain. DeBont figured that to sell the storm-chasing life, the movie needed to feel like a gritty road trip, not a fake studio tour. The team scouted for weeks to find places that matched the script's heartland vibe, turning small towns into temporary bases. This choice reduced the reliance on background CGI but ramped up the risks, like dealing with real mud after rains. Hunt and Paxton spent days baking under the sun, which added sweat and strain to their scenes that you can't fake. This choice set Twister apart from slick disaster flicks, giving it that lived-in edge. But going real meant the actors had to take the hits themselves, as the next fact shows.
Everybody underground now! Okay, guys, here we go, please.
This is the 50-year storm that's coming.
Number 7. With those authentic spots locked in, Paxton and Hunt dove headfirst into the action, skipping stunt doubles for most of the high-stakes bits. In scenes where the team battles Twisters up close, they face blasts from the wind machines we talked about earlier. Gusts whipping at hurricane-force speeds, mixed with hoses pumping simulated hail and rain that soaked them to the bone. Debris like fake corn husks, and gravel pelted their faces during takes, turning every run into a real endurance test. No green screens here. Hunt and Paxton said this raw exposure captured the movie's pulse, the thrill and terror of nature's fury.
Here we go, okay.
You'd think that'd be enough punishment, but the crew amped it up for the house smash we'll get to soon. Number 8. Speaking of destruction, one of Twister's standout moments, the truck barreling through a house as a tornado rips it apart, came straight from practical wizardry.
There was a practical house that actually was put on the street. The truck drives into it.
The front of the house was upright, but the back of the house was upside down. Well, the truck drives through the front door, but when it comes out the back, the house is upside down. So it looks like the house has done a 360 degrees revolution.
The production built a full-scale house on a Wakita lot, but it wasn't your standard sturdy build. Engineers rigged it with hydraulic lifts under the floors and weakened walls that could give way on command, turning the structure into a giant breakable toy. When the scene rolled, the powerful wind machines kicked in, blasting wind to scatter debris while the truck plowed through at speed. Timers synced the collapse so the roof caved and walls buckled right on cue, all captured in one chaotic take. Only minimal CGI patching was needed. The dust and splinters were real, adding grit you feel watching. Crew wore helmets and stayed clear, but the noise alone was deafening. This hands-on approach nailed the terror of a Twister hitting home, blending danger with showmanship. From there, the team leaned harder on tech for the storms themselves. Number 9. Once the practical stuff wrapped, Industrial Light and Magic stepped in to bring the Twisters to life on screen. Back in the mid-90s, CGI was still clunky, but ILM broke new ground with a custom particle simulation system. They programmed millions of tiny digital bits, think dust, leaves, and rubble, to swirl and collide in hyper-realistic patterns, forming those massive churning funnels. Computers chugged for hours on each frame, rendering the chaos frame by frame to match the actor's live footage. Lead effects artist Stefan Fangmeyer tweaked the software to handle wind physics, making the storms twist and grow like the real deal. It wasn't just pretty visuals. It synced with the wind machine shots for seamless blends, setting a bar for disaster movies to come. Without this, Twister might have looked cartoonish. Fangmeyer later said it pushed their tools to the edge, helping advance ILM's techniques for future films. But even with tech magic, some gags stayed grounded in weird reality, like the next one. Number 10. That brings us to one of Twister's most quoted bits, the cow sailing past the truck window with a casual moo.
one where a farmer had said that he had missed some of his cattle, and then it was found literally 20 miles away. So it was sort of reconstructed that the tornado had actually picked them up, but also put them back down in a relatively gentle fashion because they were still alive. And that's where the cow came from.
It started as a script joke to break the tension, but the effects team turned it into pure CGI gold. Animators modeled the bovine from reference photos, rigging it to flip and tumble realistically amid the debris cloud. They layered in a slowed-down cow call for the sound, making it hilariously out of place. Believe it or not, they grabbed that from real survivor stories. Farmers finding cows lodged in trees or fields miles away after storms. Real chasers shared stories of livestock getting airlifted by updrafts, so the gag nodded to that wild truth without going overboard. It lightens the film's dark chases, giving viewers a laugh amid the roar. Paxton loved it, calling it the perfect absurd touch. This mix of fun and fact shows how Twister wove real lore into its spectacle, much like Debont's style from his last big project. Number 11. Debont wasn't new to high-stakes thrills when he tackled Twister. Just 2 years earlier, he'd helmed Speed, the bus bomb thriller that grossed over $350 million and made Keanu Reeves a star. That film's non-stop pace, where everything hinges on momentum, carried over here, turning storm hunts into edge-of-your-seat races. Debont shot Twister with the same practical flair. Minimal cuts, long tracking shots through fields, and carefully staged vehicle flipping for authenticity. He wanted the audience to feel the speed and stakes, just like the bus couldn't slow down. Paxton, playing the lead, drew from his action roles, but Debont pushed for that urgent, lived-in energy. Critics noted how it echoed Speed's tension, but swapped urban explosions for rural whirlwinds. It paid off, blending heart-pounding action with character beats. Debont's track record drew top talent too, as the next fact highlights. Number 12. Debont's action chops pulled in some heavy hitters behind the scenes, starting with Steven Spielberg as executive producer. Fresh off Jurassic Park's Dino Frenzy, Spielberg saw Twister as the next big thrill ride. Blending science and spectacle, he greenlit the budget and kept the project humming through the rough patches. Then there's the script side. Michael Crichton, the Jurassic mastermind, co-wrote it with his wife Anne-Marie Martin. Crichton's knack for making smart ideas explode on screen turned a simple storm chase into a smart blockbuster. Their team-up gave Twister instant cred. Spielberg pushed for those practical effects we talked about, while Crichton's touch added the science hooks that make the storms feel smart, not just scary. It's like mixing E.T.'s wonder with ER's edge. Without them, Twister might have been another low-budget disaster. This star power didn't just fund the chaos, it aimed straight for awards, like the nod coming up next. Number 13. That blend of brains and effects paid off at the big show. Twister snagged an Academy Award nomination for Best Visual Effects in 1997, going head-to-head with heavyweights like Independence Day.
Now with a tornado isn't really a confined surface like that, and it's just sort of dust moving around. You really have to show that it's made out of billions of trillions of little particles.
The Academy loved how ILM's particle sims from Fact 9 meshed with the real wind blasts, creating twisters that looked alive and deadly. No floating blobs here. The funnels twisted with real physics, sucking up cars and cows in ways that fooled the eye. Voters praised the seamless mix of practical sets, like the house smash, and digital magic, setting a new bar for 90s movies. It lost to ID4's Aliens, but the nod proved Twister wasn't just popcorn fare, it was tech forward. Fangmeyer and the team celebrated it as validation for those late nights rendering frames. Hunt joked in interviews it was the one tornado that didn't wreck anything. This recognition sparked wider buzz, turning the movie into a gateway for storm fans, as we'll see. Number 14. The Oscar buzz helped Twister do more than entertain. It lit a fire under real-world weather nerds. Before the film, storm chasing was niche. But after, enrollment in meteorology programs saw a surge in interest. Kids watched Joe and Bill dodge funnels and thought, I want in on that. The movie nailed the mix of adrenaline and facts, like explaining vortexes without boring lectures. It made Doppler radar and F-scale ratings household talk, inspiring a wave of amateur chasers hitting the plains. Even pros credit it for boosting funding and interest in tornado research. Think about Jaws scaring beachgoers straight. Twister did the same for skies, making severe weather cool and urgent. Paxton, a chaser himself, loved how it got people respecting the danger. Did this flick ever make you check the radar app during a storm? Drop your story in the comments. But while it charmed audiences, the set hid darker risks, like the injury that sent someone to the hospital. Number 15. Back on set, the push for realism turned risky fast. During a key destruction scene, the crew rigged a ceiling in one of the practical builds to drop on cue, simulating a Twister's roof rip, but timing went wrong. The structure collapsed early, burying workers under beams and debris. Reports say at least one crew member, tied to the camera work, was injured and required medical attention from the hit. It was a wake-up call amid Debont's intensity. Safety nets weren't always tight. The incident paused shooting for checks, but they pressed on, swapping in backups to finish. This echoed the crew walkouts from Fact 5, showing how the drive for epic shots clashed with real harm. Moments like this remind you, movies are fun, but making them can break bones. Number 16. Despite the setbacks, Twister stormed theaters on Memorial Day 1996 and didn't let up. It raked in about $499 million worldwide, landing as the second highest grosser that year behind only Independence Day. Opening weekend alone pulled $33 million, with crowds packing theaters for the immersive sound. Families flocked for the action, while teens loved the chases. Perfect summer escape. It beat out Mission Impossible and outlasted competitors by feeling fresh, not formulaic. International markets ate it up too, showing strong performance globally. Paxton became a household name overnight, and the flick's mix of heart and havoc kept lines long through July. Critics gave it a solid B, praising the thrills over plot holes. That cash flood proved disaster flicks could dominate without superheroes. It wasn't just money, it cemented Twister as 90s gold, paving the way for home video wins. Number 17. Twister's momentum carried straight to living rooms when DVD hit in the late 90s. Released in 1998, it was among the first major Hollywood titles on the format in the US, jumping on the tech wave early. The crisp visuals popped on the new discs. Those swirling funnels and debris fields looked sharper than VHS fuzz. Extras included behind-the-scenes clips of the wind machines and actor chats, hooking fans deeper. It helped sell DVD players, showing off widescreen and surround sound that made storms rumble at home. Before streaming, this was peak ownership. Families grabbed copies to relive the chases. Sales topped millions, extending the box office run. Compared to clunky laserdiscs, DVD made Twister accessible, keeping the meme alive. From theaters to shelves, it owned the storm game, leading to cultural echoes we'll hit next. Number 18. Those home releases kept the film's lines fresh in fans' minds, especially Dusty's wild talk about the suck zone.
The suck zone. It's the point, basically, at which the Twister sucks you up.
It's that spot right in a tornado's path where everything gets pulled in. No real weather term, just movie flair from the script. But it stuck hard, turning into a go-to joke for storm watchers. Chasers yell it on social media during hunts, and memes pop up every tornado season. Even pros nod to it in interviews, saying it captures the pull without the science jargon. Paxton delivered it with that deadpan charm, making it quotable like, "I'll be back." It bridged the gap between fun flick and real risks, drawing in casual viewers to check forecasts. No other disaster movie birthed a phrase that lives on like this. It's Twister's secret handshake. That cultural pull shows in the places the movie touched down for good. Number 19. One spot that felt the impact most is Waukeeta, Oklahoma, the stand-in town for the film's wrecked Waukeeta scenes. Locals turned the real damage into a draw, opening the Twister Movie Museum in 2000 right on Main Street. It's packed with props like the Dorothy sensors, rusted truck parts from the chases, and debris chunks from the house set. Free to enter, it pulls in hundreds yearly. Fans snap pics by the tornado funnel replica and read scripts under glass. The building itself got a facelift to mimic the movie's style, with wind-battered walls. Hunt visited once, signing posters and sharing set tales. It's not just nostalgia. It honors how the shoot boosted the tiny town's economy. If you're road tripping the plains, it's a must-stop to see movie magic up close. This preservation leads right into how the community keeps the spirit alive year-round. Number 20. Annually, Waukeeta cranks up the fun with its Twister Day celebration, drawing crowds from across the states to celebrate the film's legacy. This event, often held in September, packs the town with fans who gather to relive the movie. The weekend often includes car shows, local vendors, and special screenings hosted by the Twister Museum. Fans trade stories about favorite scenes, while locals share how the production changed their quiet spot forever. It's grown into a full community event where Bill Paxton's memory looms large, proving the movie's storm never fully cleared. It's still spinning culture. Twister's mix of real grit and wild effects turned a simple chase into a benchmark for thrills that still hooks us. What on-set mishaps shocked you most? Comment below.
Get underground! Take her right now! Go!
We're spread over like God knows 30 little hotels, and we still all have dinner together. It was the best time, and crew-wise and cast-wise, one of the best movies I worked on.